Are you sitting in a space where you are struggling with anxiety? Do you feel like a prisoner to the cycles of depression? Do you feel stuck in your own life and feel frustrated and lost, but yet you know there is so much more on the other side of this mental breakdown? I want to hold your hand through this therapeutic life healing journey. I will help you navigate emotional healing, spiritual growth, and taking massive action so you can align your mind, body, and spirit to completely transforming your life. You are worthy of the life of your dreams, of stepping into your power and experiencing your breakdown as your breakthrough. Hey, I'm Adit. I'm your therapist, your coach, your mentor. Join me as we heal your life together. Hello, friends. Welcome back to Therapeutic Life Healing with me, Adit. I'm so glad you're here. Today's episode, I'm going to share a little bit about how you can support your strong friend. You might even be that strong friend and waiting on your inner circle to check up on you. I'm going to share some do's and don'ts that will be helpful, and keep in mind a friend of yours that you consider to be strong. And this is some ways that you can support them in their healing journey. Before we dive into the episode, I just want to say hello to all the listeners tuning in from around the world. I see you. I always check the stats, and it's so fun to see where you're tuning in from. Definitely a big shout out to my home country where I live in the United States and California. I see you. There's a big crowd tuning in. That's my home state, so maybe a ton of my friends tuning in, but thank you for listening. California, Florida, I see you out in Illinois and Pennsylvania, friends out in New York, Texas. I see you out there in Minnesota and Washington. Hello, friends out in New Mexico and Kansas. And heading over to Canada, I see you out there, Ontario, big crowd there. Hello, hello. Quebec, thank you for tuning in Alberta and British Columbia. Hello, friends in Australia. I see you out in Queensland, in South Australia, in New South Wales and Victoria. All over the world, people tuning in from the Philippines, the UK, Germany, the Netherlands, Spain, Malaysia, Indonesia, Kenya, Mexico, just to name a few. I thank you so much for spending your time here with me. Each week, I release a new episode. If you're new, thank you for being here. Go check out some of the other episodes as well after this one and see what resonates for you on your healing journey. And if you are returning, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you tuning in each week, being a loyal listener. If you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe and leave a review. I read each and every single one of them, and it brings me so much joy. It gives me energy to keep going, and love to hear what you think. So with that said, let's dive into the episode. So this episode is really important to me. I really want to be part of the solution to help us be able to take care of each other in our season of hard. And what I mean by that is we're all human, and even your strongest friend, the one that seems to have it all together, doesn't. They are struggling. And I laugh because it's so often that I keep seeing so much toxic positivity all over social media, the news, and there's nothing wrong with feeling grateful. And I think that's a beautiful perspective to hold, and that's one that I value. However, if that is the only thing that we keep reminding our friends to do, to be grateful, it's really hard for us to lay down our strong. And so today's episode, I really want to focus on your strong friend. You might be that strong friend, so you might resonate with what the do's and the don'ts are, and maybe share this episode with a friend. And at the end, I'll share a little bit more of what you can do to just take some action. But let's go ahead and lay out what a strong friend is, because it's not always apparent that they are struggling. This do's and don'ts list is meant to help that well-intended friend that doesn't know how to support their strong friend. As I go through what a strong friend is, bring one of your friends in mind and keep them in your mind as we go through this episode, and think about ways that you could reach out to them by taking action on one of these steps. So I want you to think about that friend who is always on top of everything. The friend that's likely always checking up on you, holding space for you, and gives of themselves so freely to the people that they love, their community, their work, their family, their friends. they just give, right? And they oftentimes aren't asking for anything in return because they truly do love what they do. They love giving, they love serving, they love caretaking, they love being there for you. However, that gets exhausting. It's that friend who has been through some shit, but appears to be doing so well, so you think that they don't need support. This is the friend that we are shocked to find out is struggling because they seemed fine or happy. Because what we know is through this pandemic, mental health, mental illness is a real struggle, and it's been tripling over this pandemic. Depression and anxiety, people who hadn't experienced it before are experiencing it. People who were struggling before are having even a harder time now. So your strong friend who has kept it all together, has her entrepreneur side, maybe she's, has a hustle on the side, she's creating a business, she might be a parent, she might be also a manager, she is working full time, she's just doing it all. She's there for her family, she's advocating in the streets, she's protesting for social justice causes, and she's just doing it all, right? And on top of that, she's gone through some stuff that have been difficult, but she's there for you. You need her, she's calling you back, she's answering your texts, she's holding space for you. Well, that friend is exhausted. I know because I'm that friend. I'm tired. And I really, in the past would have such a hard time with people not seeing like how tired I was and assuming that they should know. And, this is intended to start sparking our awareness about that strong friend. I think we all can take responsibility for talking about what we need, but oftentimes that strong friend has a hard time doing so because, again, they're that strong friend. So they're trying to keep it all together, not ask for help. And so this is intended for you to think about who that strong friend is in your life and proactively reach out to them. And you might even be that strong friend who's waiting for your circle to check up on you. Maybe you've been the one who's always reaching out to people. Now you're just tired. Now you're waiting for who's reaching out to you, who's checking up on you through this pandemic and things that you've been going through, who's thinking of you and sending you a text, maybe sending you a home meal delivery or a book because they thought about you, or a journal or something. It doesn't have to be anything bought. It could also just be a letter in the mail, a card that they're thinking of you, or a text, a phone call. But you're waiting on that. And so this pandemic has been a blessing for some and a living nightmare for others. Some are in between and have their good days and bad days. And either way, I just want us to normalize that being strong means talking about the hard stuff. It means talking about being sad, being angry, feeling helpless, feeling tired too. Not constantly having to say that you're tired or you're sad and then following up with like, but no, I'm also really grateful and I'm looking on the bright side. And that's all well, but like after a while, we should just trust that. We should not have to constantly say that. It gets exhausting. Sometimes we just want to sit in the sad and we want someone to hold that space for us. So for my profession, I hear too often people not being able to lay down their strong and they're exhausted keeping up a front for their family and their friends. And I'm glad I can hold space for them and that they can reach out for help for me. But it also makes me think of how many of you are struggling in silence and don't have a session with a professional to help you through it. And so here are some ways that you can check up on your strong friend. I want you to think about this list. The do. Forgive them if they miss your event. Don't answer your calls, emails, or texts right away. They're tired of constantly keeping up with people's demands for their life and being there for everyone at the expense of not being there for themselves. Every moment they are with someone else is a moment they don't get to self-care, rest, or reset for themselves. So do not give them guilt trips for not living their life on your timeline. Learn to self-regulate and give them space and encourage their self-care plans or having canceled to take care of themselves instead. And also keep in mind that I want you to remember that they didn't ask to be strong. Their life circumstances were such that they didn't feel that they had any other choice. That being strong hasn't come easy, and it's emotionally exhausting to keep that up. So do acknowledge their tiredness, then give them permission to not be strong with you by saying, "You can lay down your strong when talking with me." And don't keep telling them how much you admire their strength. It's okay once in a while to say that, but when you constantly say that, it reinforces the message that they have to stay strong with you. And talk to them about that. Do ask them open-ended questions about their experience of being strong. For example, what has name the experience, for example, being a mom, been like for you? And what have been the challenges for you with being a mom? Then just listen, don't interrupt. And you could replace being a mom with really anything. The loss of a loved one, being Black in America, being an immigrant, having just lost your job, maybe being diagnosed with an illness, having someone in their family that's struggling with mental illness or substance abuse, their divorce. Just ask them openly, hey, what has, name the experience, been like for you? And what have been the challenges for you with, name the experience? And then just listen, don't interrupt. And don't offer solutions unless you ask first that this is what they want from you when they're sharing their feelings and experiences with you. Most of the time, people just want to be heard. They want to be listened to. They want to be validated for their experience. However, most of the time, our friends are returning back to gratitude. But if we can, in that time with them, just listen, not interrupt, and not offer solutions, and just hear them and say, yeah, I hear that must have been so hard for you. And just validate it. What would you like from me? How can I support you? Encourage their self-care plans. Do this. Do remind them that you will not be mad at them if they need to cancel plans with you. If that means they're taking care of their mental health, tell them that you're invested in their rest too, that it's important that they do take time out for themselves and that you will not be mad at them, because your strong friend is worried about you being mad at them. They're worried that if they don't call you back right away, they don't text you back right away, that they're then a bad friend, or they feel awful. And on top of just constantly keeping up with everything in their life, they have that emotional exhaustion. So they're just constantly trying to keep up and trying to be a good this or be a good that. And so when you reinforce and tell them and remind them, hey, you're a good friend no matter what. You can cancel plans. If you're taking care of yourself, I want that for you. Please, cancel plans. It's okay. I'm invested in your mental health, your well-being, your rest. I'm not going to be mad at you. It's nice and comforting for a strong friend to hear that from you. Don't tell them that they are a bad friend if they cancel. You can let them know how something they did hurt you, and start with I statements and to express your feelings. Yeah, I was really sad that you weren't able to attend my birthday party or my baby shower, but, I completely understand because you are prioritizing your self-care and your mental health, and I want you to do that. And so, yeah, while I might be sad, because you're allowed to have your feelings, you can totally feel sad and disappointed, maybe that they weren't there for you, and it's okay to express that. I think it just needs to be followed with and that you're understanding that if it's because their mental health is at risk and they are canceling because they need to take care of themselves, or really any reason, they don't need to give anybody a reason. Really, we should be staying away from trying to have to justify why we need rest. I think, that's even something that's embedded in my own brain that I'm trying to acknowledge. So even recording this right now live with no script, I'm realizing, yeah, no one needs to give a reason why they're canceling. Let's just honor that, hey, if you're canceling, I trust you need that cancellation. So go ahead and take it. Take it. And I am down to support you in whatever you need. And I don't need an explanation. I think we need to get better at not needing an explanation from people about why they didn't call us back or why didn't they come to something. It's just they just couldn't. And can that just be it? Can we just leave it at that? So some final reminders for you that your strong friend is tired. Your strong friend is human. Your strong friend is not Superwoman, nor does she want to be. She's not perfect. Your strong friend wants help, but your strong friend has a hard time asking for help. or accepting it. So keep trying and showing up to help them anyways. I really want to kind of end here with this quote that I've been thinking about and put together, but it goes like this. Normalize sadness, anger, and other emotions that have been labeled as negative for so long. It is okay to not be okay. People will find they're happy. Let's stop pressuring each other to be happy all the time in our season of hard. Gratitude can come after acknowledging the suck. So with that, friends, I just want to end here. This is a short and sweet episode because, to be honest, I'm tired and I'm keeping it to a short episode so then I can go and Netflix and chill and rest. This week has been exceptionally exhausting for myself, but I do love this topic. I think it's so important, and I got inspired to speak on this because I myself experienced this, and I just really believe in taking care of each other. And for so long, being that strong friend is exhausting, and we want others to check on us too. So just a friendly reminder, check on your strong friend, let them know that they can lay down their strong with you. And if they don't want to talk about it, that's okay too. They might be exhausted from talking about it or thinking about it, and they would rather not. So the idea is just to keep exploring and asking them what they need, and just reminding them that you're there for them. And through these quick ways that I share, the do's and don'ts, just refer back to them, write the ones that resonated for you, and open up a dialogue and a conversation with your strong friend about, hey, I listened to this podcast episode and wondering if any of these resonate for you. Or if you are that strong friend, send it to your circle and say, hey, some of these resonated for me and I want to talk about that. Just use this as the initial spark to a conversation. So send this episode to someone you know that you love, that you're thinking about, and let them know that you're invested in their rest. You're invested in their self-care, that you won't be mad if they're going to cancel plans. Let's make 2021 a year where we're going to uphold and really be mindful of people's mental health and allow them space to just breathe and not have to respond to so many demands, because everything right now is trying to pull our attention away from ourselves. So it's just so important right now to have constant reminders from people that you love that you don't need to constantly respond. And it's okay to take a time out and rest and take care of yourself. And with that, friends, I hope that you have a wonderful day. Take good care of yourself and take good care of each other. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I trust that you took away some gems, some highlights for yourself in this episode. And I want to invite you to dive deeper with me if you'd like to schedule a one-on-one personalized healing session where we can really dive deeper into what's coming up for you, what you're struggling with, if you're in a place of transition in your life, whether that's relationships, careers, if you're struggling with boundaries. And we can really unpack that together and create a breakthrough session for you. Go ahead and email me at hello@aditc.com. That's hello@aditc.com. It's also in the show notes. I also offer a virtual master course. That's a therapeutic life healing master course that's virtual, self-paced at home. And it's guided with slides and videos of me really walking you through a 3-week structured program that will help you learn about boundaries, understand fear in the brain and how it has shown up in your life. There's journal prompts and guided meditations. So go to aditc.com and click on virtual master course to see the curriculum today. And you can enroll wherever you are in the world right away and start in the comfort of your own home today. If you found any value in today's episode, please go ahead and subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. I'd love to hear from you and what you think. And I hope that you take care of yourself on your healing journey and take care of each other.